Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined this hour by the Rachel Cruz, who is also my co-host on Smart Money Happy Hour.
That's right.
Which we're having a blast with. Appreciate all of you listening to that, subscribing, sharing with friends. We just released one about 90s nostalgia and how they're coming for our wallets with it.
Yeah.
People loved it.
It was great. You know, there was an Instagram post. People were sending me an Instagram handle. I can't remember who it is. But they go back to all this nostalgia moments of commercials and catalogs. So they had like the J.C. Penney 1993 spring catalog for girls. And I was like, there's my wardrobe.
That was your aesthetic.
There it was. So yeah, it was a fun episode.
Go check that out. Well, we're taking your calls this hour at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Neil is kicking us off in Denver. Neil, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just a little background on what's going on here. We just started baby step number 2, my wife and I can't tell you how much of a difference it has made in our life, and even in my marriage already. So I really appreciate the work you guys do.
That's awesome to hear.
Awesome. Well, my question today, I've worked in lending for the past 7 years, 5 of that doing lending, and then the last 2 years in lending tech. And after starting the Dave Ramsey program, the baby steps, I'm feeling a little bit like I just don't want to be a part of the problem. You know, and I've put people into more debt before where they probably shouldn't have gone. And our tech doesn't necessarily help that. It's a education tool, but I just really don't want to have, I'm struggling with it. So I was wondering what you guys have for me.
So you've been in the lending world and the financial world. Are there other companies, roles that wouldn't involve you being so connected to people getting into debt?
Well, yes. I'm in tech now, so I've considered looking for another role. But the economy is kind of interesting when it comes to tech, and I need the stable income. I've got a little baby at home, and like I said, we're trying to crank out baby step number 2, so I'm nervous to jump ship. Yeah,
well, I wouldn't suggest that you jump ship, Neil, because I mean, obviously what you're doing is now conflicting morally in what your convictions are, what you're believing about money. So that's a real thing, and I think it's important to listen to, because if you're in it for a long period of time, naturally that's just going to wear on you and who you are, and we don't want that for anybody in their work, right, their line of work. But you're not doing anything illegal, right? I mean, like you're so. I mean, obviously, if you came on here, you're like, I'm dealing drugs, we'd be like, all right, Neil, we got to shift careers.
Maybe you should jump ship.
But yeah, you're not doing anything illegal. So you have time to give yourself some patience to go. But I would be actively probably looking for someone or something else. Again, just because you going into a line of work every day, 40 hours a week, doing something that starts just to rub up against you morally, like that's just not a fun place to be, right? So again, I wouldn't jump ship right now, but I would be pursuing other stuff. And the great thing is, there are some layoffs happening in the tech industry. We're seeing that a lot, but there's also a lot of places still hiring. And I think in your line of work, there's still opportunity to be had. So I would, if I were you, be proactively looking for something, but I wouldn't just quit tomorrow, because I feel like that's unwise.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's Get Clear assessment, because I think it will help you go, all right, it really isn't lending that I'm all about. I really love helping people do X, Y, Z. I can go work in the tech space, but not in the finance space. Or I can go work in the finance space, but not be a part of the lending section. And so the thing with banking, banks make money from debt products largely. And so anywhere in the fintech space, you're going to have this moral issue. And so I think you also need to go, is there another line of work that I could do that's connected to the skills that I have that doesn't connect to the financial world?
Yeah. I think it's definitely out there. Just got to find those opportunities.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you, man.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Hang on the line. Austin will pick up, and we will make sure you get that Get Clear assessment from our friend, Ken Coleman. All right, let's move on to Cassie in Huntsville, Alabama. Cassie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. How are y'all?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Good. So I have a situation. I'm just trying to make sure that I am doing the right thing here. So basically my question is, should I sell my house and live in a camper until my husband and I can save enough money to pay for and build our home? So a little background there. I know that like campers, they depreciate, and we would buy one anyways later down the road. I am in nursing school, and I plan to do travel nursing, so we're going to need one regardless. But I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here. We are on baby step 2. We have about $32,000 in debt, and we have just over $100,000 in equity in our home. So we would use that to pay off our debt and then just pay for a camper.
So how far away are you guys from actually buying this future house or building it?
Well, just however long it would take us to save up, because if we do this, that would be it. No more debt whatsoever. So we would just work on saving $250 maybe to build.
My worry is that this sets you backwards instead of forwards, because the camper goes down in value. You sell your house, which is appreciating in value. And so by the end of this thing, you're actually down instead of up. What if you just stayed in the house, stayed put, paid off your consumer debt, get through nursing school, and then we can see where we're at financially?
Yeah, Cassie, how old are you guys?
I'm 22 and my husband is 23.
Okay. And how much do you guys make a year?
We make about $4,800 a month. So I think it's like 55 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably slow down a little bit. I think when you said, am I jumping the gun? I kind of feel like you might be. I think that it's a great goal to have, and I think a very realistic one for you guys in the future. But I think you have a couple of steps ahead of you before I would jump to selling your home right now. I think paying off this consumer debt, like George said, and if you get into travel nursing too, that pays really well. And so you'll be able to even knock out that consumer debt if you still have some going into that new job. And so I would focus on all of that, get an emergency fund in place, save up a down payment. Or I guess if you guys, are building the construction loan and going through that whole process. But I wouldn't be in a rush to do it right now, Cassie. I think it's a great 5-8 year goal maybe to look out there. But I think you would be rushing some of the progress that could be made. And like George said, you could end up actually financially backwards if you do this. So I would stay in the home, pay off the consumer debt, get an emergency fund, get in a great financial position to get a down payment, the construction loan, and go from there.
I like that. Slow is usually the best path and the most frustrating. And so patience is a virtue for a reason, delayed gratification. You guys will get there in no time. You're 22 and 23. You got so much time ahead of you to hit those financial goals. More of your calls coming up. 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. We're talking about your life and your money, all the stuff that's ruminating in your brain, inflation, and your debt payments, and what about student loan forgiveness, and this mortgage fees just is getting out of control in the housing market. And we just want to give you a breath of fresh air and tell you the truth, even if it hurts a little bit, because we want to see you win with money. Murphy is joining us in Phoenix up next. Murphy, welcome to the show.
George and Rachel, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So my wife and I are completely on board with getting debt-free. There's a little contention in regards to some property that we own. And the question is this. We own a condo outright that's currently worth about $275,000 on the open market. But we have an existing mortgage as well, about $250,000. I'd like to sell the condo and pay off the mortgage, and she kind of thinks because the condo's been paid off for, that we just keep ticking along with the mortgage. And I'm just looking for advice from you guys in regards to that.
Do you have any consumer debt, Murphy, or is it just the mortgage?
We have a car loan, yes. There's about $30,000 still owed on a car loan.
Okay. How much do you guys have in savings?
So that's a little difficult too. We had $150,000 in savings that we let our son borrow for a business that he started, but he's going to be paying that back to us here real soon in less than 30 days.
As like a lump sum?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So you'll have $150K in a month.
Yes.
That'll clear the car loan.
Yep.
And clear a huge chunk of the mortgage too.
Yeah.
Outside of leaving a big chunk for your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, Murphy, I don't think there's a right or wrong here. I mean, it's a pay. If you guys had a mortgage on the rental property, I would say just sell it. But because you guys own it outright, I mean, it's an asset. And then at that point, we always say to be intentional through baby steps 4 through 7, and which means to me I don't feel like you have to be overly intense, and overly intense would mean selling the condo and paying off the mortgage, and you're done. So I don't feel like you guys have to. I think you have some great cash coming in. You're able to hit the mortgage. How much you guys make a year?
So I'm self-employed, so that fluctuates quite a bit a year. But like last year, the combined income was $850,000.
850. Oh yeah, Murphy, y'all just
as in 850,000.
850,000. Yeah,
that's great.
Your mortgage is gone.
Yeah.
Within like a few months at this point.
Okay.
So I think
No, Murphy. If you don't, sorry, George.
No, continue.
If you
this changes.
if you don't want to be a landlord though, and you guys aren't happy about investment real estate, and you're like it's a drain, it's not fun, we don't want it, then yeah, for sure, sell it and get out and do some other investing with your money, because you guys are going to have plenty of cash coming in, plenty of income coming in to be able to go and do whatever you want to do investment wise. So if it's not something that you guys want to, if you don't want to be a landlord, then yeah, sell it. But if you guys love it and you enjoy rental properties, I would keep it and then pay off the mortgage with your income.
Okay, yeah, that's also where we disagree, because I don't necessarily enjoy it.
Okay. Does she? Who deals with the property more, you or your wife?
My wife does. My wife definitely does.
Okay.
She enjoys it?
And she likes it?
I don't know if she does or not. Anytime there's a repair that's required, she gets involved. She takes care of it. She calls repairmen, stuff like that. She collects the rent from it. She deals with all of that.
Okay.
But I don't think she has a corporate job as well, so I don't think she necessarily likes or enjoys it.
Okay. So what I would do, Murphy, is you'd say you can get $275 for it?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I would have a date night. We always talk about doing like a dream date night, and take $275 on the table, and you and her talk about what could we do with this money. Is there better investments? What if we just put it in the market and do an investment calculator and just say, what could that grow to in 20 years? What if we found a small business that we loved and we wanted to get in and, be part owners of that, and we could put that there? Do we want to, maybe buy a different property? Do we want to take this and go and travel the world? Like, go and just dream with $275,000. And if nothing keeps bubbling up as something like, gosh, we have to do this right now, we want to do this, and she's fine with keeping it, then maybe keep it. But at least have the discussion of what would we do with the money if we sold it, just as for the heck of it. But if she's fine with it and it's not a big problem to her, then making
$850, even if you regret the decision after selling it, you can go buy another $300,000 property by the end of the year.
So the intent of the condo was never to be a positive cash flow income for us. It never was. The original intent was as a backup house, because we bought this in the crash of 2008. We only paid $38,000 for it on a short sale.
Oh, wow.
And the goal of the property had always been that, hey, we have this $1 million house. If we ever lose it because something happens and I'm self-employed, we have a backup.
Oh, I gotcha.
That was always the goal. And if I can take the cash from the condo and pay off the existing mortgage, now we have that home security in our main house. So that's kind of why I'm trying to steer her in this direction, because the goal of the condo was just housing security.
And why does she want to keep it? What's her reasoning for keeping it?
I'm not sure. You know what? We have a date night tonight, so I will ask her tonight.
That's great. Yeah, and I honestly think, since you can't even answer that question, I think you guys may come to a conclusion really quickly. You know, she may be like, "Oh, perfect. That's right. That's true. That makes sense. If our home's paid for, then there is no risk on that end with our primary home, so we don't need it." You know, it could be a pretty easy discussion.
Yeah, but originally she and I both agreed that we wanted to keep it for that housing security, because
that was in 2008, Murphy. Now I mean, that's like 15 years ago, and you guys obviously haven't talked about it recently, so I can't even remember what I said in 2008.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. So I would have a current discussion with her, and again, to George's point, there's not a right or wrong here. I mean, you guys are in great financial shape. You make great money. You don't go into any more consumer debt. That $30,000 car loan needs to be paid off today. Save some money, and yeah, I think you'll be fine.
You'll be okay. What's your net worth combined?
So it varies a little bit, but we're kind of touching that $10 million mark.
$10 million, and we're arguing over a $250,000 mortgage.
But we've gotten to this point because I've been really aggressive with tackling everything, and I'm not. The finish line is near, and I'm not letting up. Is
Murphy? You need to chill. It's Friday night.
Get some appetizers tonight.
Get
dessert.
I think you just need to. You need to take it. You guys are doing great. You're an intense guy, and I like it. I have an intense dad. My husband has some intensity. My old friend George Camel has some intensity.
We need Rachels in our life to balance
and it's all
us.
good. But you're fine, Murphy. Y'all are good. You're good.
We talk to actual broke people on this show. And so talking to you, I'm like, what is this guy? I need to ask you for advice, man.
I know. Help us with our money, Murphy.
Goodness gracious. Well, I'm rooting for you guys. Thank you so much for the call.
Great job.
I aspire to that.
Y'all have worked really hard and done a really great job. I know we're kind of poking fun at you a little bit, but well done. I mean, it's impressive. Well done.
It's hard to turn that intensity off, for sure. And Winston Cruz was on this show earlier this week, so I feel like chopped liver compared to him. Everyone loved having Winston Cruz, which is Rachel's husband, by the way, on the show talking about real estate and how to do it the right way.
He missed you, George. He really...
I'm secretly hoping me and Winston can do an hour one day. Because I can't hang... Winston doesn't want to hang out with me outside of having to do this.
Whatever, George, you came over and watched Dumb and Dumber.
I did. That was a
few months ago at our house. I know. Winston learned that George had never seen Dumb and Dumber. And Winston was like,
Changed my life.
George, you need to come over and you need to watch this movie.
Oh, well, what was the big takeaway from having Winston on earlier this week?
The big takeaway?
Yeah, on real estate. Did he have any hot takes?
Yeah, I mean, he did great kind of processing with some of the callers through there. I think the biggest thing is if you're doing investment real estate while you still have other risk, whether that's a mortgage on your primary home and other things, it's not worth it in the long run, because usually the cash flow that comes in from the rental doesn't really doesn't have a big weight because of everything else you have to do with it. So if you think it's kind of this get rich quick, if I own this, I'll be great. It's a little bit more difficult than that.
That's good. Good summary. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
More of your calls coming up right here on The Ramsey Show.
Hey, folks, you know that sinking feeling? when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruze Show, Rachel Cruze herself, here with me today. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Well, Rachel, a lot of people send us stuff on Instagram in the DMs, like things that they think are funny that will rile us up. And occasionally, enough people send a video to me that I'm like, we got to put this on the show. It's funny.
So
it's worth everyone's time. So I want to play it for you. You've seen this because I saw you comment on the video.
Yes.
It's from a comedian who lives in New York City named Nathan McIntosh. I want to give him credit on this one, and it's a hilarious bit on student loans. So let's check that out.
How did we ever decide to lend students money in the first place? Didn't that seem like a terrible idea? Somebody just out of high school, they have one poster to their name. Why? There are people with jobs and credit who can't get loans. They walk into banks with business plans. They're like 2-year projection, 5-year projection. The bank's like, get out of here, man. It'll never work. And then some kid waddles in. What do you need? A horse literature degree. Okay. Here's $80,000.
So good.
It's so true, though.
It's funny because it's true. That's what they say.
Because it's true. People come with business plans, show ROI. Show everything, you know.
And they still get turned down.
And they get turned down.
But student loan companies will just give out free money going, you'll be fine. Just get your horse literature degree. You know, it doesn't even matter if you graduate.
We're going to give you $80,000.
That's on the low end.
That's right. For real.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's truth to it, and there's also the story behind it, which we cover in Borrowed Future, both on the podcast and the documentary. But Sally Mae and the government, they commingled. They're in cahoots with each other, and they said, the government's like, hey, Sally Mae, we need more people to get educations, so we'll cover the loans. If they can't pay, the government will back it.
Yep.
And so it began the federally backed student loan program, and student loan companies are going, sweet, we're just going to give out as much money as possible. The colleges love it. They're going, sweet, we'll raise prices.
We can keep raising tuition, and they still get the money, and it's just this wonderful cycle that's happening in America today, and it's crazy. Do you feel a backlash from college, though, right now? Like, do you feel people are
pushing back against the idea?
Yeah.
I think Gen Z are the ones going, this is stupid, because they're seeing their brothers, sisters, family still paying off student loans with student loan forgiveness dangling out there, and they're going, this isn't the path.
Yep.
So we're seeing a lot of Gen Z folks who are going, I'm going to turn my side hustle into the full-time thing. And so I respect the hustle of these younger generations who are going, I'm too smart to fall for something this stupid.
Because we're all for higher education. I think it's wise to continue to learn and to grow, but it's when the ROI doesn't play out in the marketplace, right? I mean, he's joking about horse literature, but for real, like there really are the most bizarre.
I feel like there should be legislation around what degrees you can even offer.
I mean, seriously, because I'm like, because you can't go into the marketplace with that degree and make that amount of money. If you go to a private school, not even like a super fancy one, but just even like a liberal arts, even some of these Christian colleges, right, that are private, all that. I mean, you're paying $140 getting out. I mean, they're so expensive for a degree that's not going to make that in the marketplace. So yeah, I think people are finally waking up, being like, okay, what? And now, granted, if you're, a dentist or a doctor. I mean, there are obviously massive degrees to get that will create a wonderful career path, and even a business degree, right? I mean, there are still degrees to be had.
And we have degrees. We can call that out.
Yeah, we both went to college.
Universities.
Yeah, but then you're still just looking at the ROI. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the degree is what caused any level of my success. You know what I mean? The degree itself.
Right. I know.
It's great. It's a check mark. But more and more employers, even Ramsey Solutions is going, Do you have the skills? Do you have the talents? Are you a culture fit?
Yes.
Did you get the experience and knowledge from somewhere?
And because I think the degree is just watered down, that almost everyone has one, right? Like when our parents
It was special.
were doing it,
Set you apart.
It did. And now it's like, well, everyone can get one because anyone can get a loan, to the comedian's point. Like, anyone can just walk in and get a loan. So yeah, it doesn't create that like, that weight that it used to. And then us millennials, we were right on that front end of the crisis. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting conversation to have.
Well, go watch Borrowed Future. If you are a parent, if you are a student, and you're curious about this stuff, we lay it out in 88 minutes flat, and it will create some amazing conversations with you, your kids, and get you riled up about this problem, which I think we should be riled up about, and we shouldn't be waiting on the government to fix it, because we could be waiting a few lifetimes. Let's get to the phones. Luke joins us up next in Kansas City. Luke, welcome to the show.
How are you guys?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good. So, calling in about student loans.
Perfect.
Great.
So, yeah, perfect, right? So, my wife and I, we have a combined about $47,000 worth of student loans. $37,000 of that comes from me, and the other $10,000 is from my wife. So, over the last 2.5 years, we've taken advantage of this no interest here, or not having to pay our loans, and we saved up about $60,000. So we have that to pay it off. So since we started doing that, we've started investing into our 401k, which I do have a follow-up question on that. But the question is, I don't want to rely on the government, and I don't necessarily agree that they should pay it off, but is it worth going ahead and throwing that money there and paying those loans off? Or, we've waited this long. Should we wait just a little longer to see if it actually happens or not?
Luke, you know our answer.
I know. I was afraid.
What are you going to do with that money if you don't pay off the student loans?
Well, the only debt we do have right now is the student loans and our house payment, and we have about $110,000 left on our mortgage. So it could go to that. But I mean, we're at the point now to where I started investing my 15% into my 401k Roth, and my wife, I finally got her talked into doing at least 10%. She's not 100% on board with paying the loans off. She's to the point she's looking at cars, and I'm trying to talk her out of it. So,
so here's the thing, Luke. What we have found with people with debt, Scripture says the borrower is slave to the lender. And whether you believe with Scripture or not, it's a saying of wisdom that when you are in debt and you owe someone something, there's a lack of freedom that you just naturally have. And it may not be 100% financially in your boat, right? Because you have the money to pay it off. But there is something to be said, I think, from a mental health standpoint. I think from a spiritual element, there's just something when you know you owe someone something, and when you pay it off and you have the money, Luke. So today is what we would say, that when you get off the phone with us, you guys freaking just log into your account and pay this thing off. There is a small weight that you are carrying, even though you have the money in the bank. There is something to be said that when you don't owe anyone anything, there is a level of freedom that comes, a level of levity, a level of peace that you just can't fully have when someone else's name is attached to your income and to your life. And so from the financial perspective, we're all about getting out of debt, because when you free up your income, you can invest it, you can build wealth, you can do so much with your income versus it going back out to car payments and credit cards and student loans and all this. But then there's that other element, and Dr. John Deloney talks about this from the mental health perspective, that there is something that happens in the human, I think, body, mind, spirit, soul, when you are just free, when no one else, when you don't owe anything. And so I would say, you guys pay it off today. And if she just wants to get back into $43,000 of debt again, if she just so misses debt, if she misses it, and you guys want to go get back in as a couple, there are plenty of ways to go back into debt if you guys want. But I guarantee you, when you guys pay it off and you look forward to your future, and you see money that is saved, you see money that is saved for a car, and you guys cash flow these purchases, there's a reason people don't go back into debt.
Pay it off. You'll still have $13K. Call that your emergency fund. Now you can actually invest with pure freedom. But you're lying to yourselves if you think you have $60,000. You don't, because you owe the student loan companies $47,000.
That's right.
That's bad math.
Yeah,
So
net worth is your, what
Assets
you own,
minus
what
liabilities.
you owe, and that's the truth.
you know what to do, man. You got this. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel here with Rachel Cruz this hour, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225.
You know what's interesting, George, is when you start to change the way you think about money and you actually start to win with money, those changes spill over to other areas of your life. So before you know it, you're not just out of debt, but your mental health, your job, your marriage, relationships start getting better. And that's what happens. We talk about all those things at the SMART conference. So this is 2 action-packed days that you'll leave with a plan to win with money, get free of anxiety, and start knocking out all of your goals for the future. And this is our biggest event that we do here at Ramsey Solutions, so you don't want to miss it. This is more than just money. This is about your entire life. And so we really say that this one weekend could change so much because there's so much content around your entire life. So we are actually going to have the SMART Conference this fall in Chicago, which we are so excited about. So Chicago, Illinois, we'll be there for the SMART Conference weekend in September the 15th and the 16th. So it's Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, George Camel, Jade Warshaw, Ken Coleman, and myself. We will be in Chicago for the SMART Conference weekend, and we would love to see you there. You can get early bird tickets that just start at $79. We've got VIP level tickets that include a lot of swag and opportunities to meet all of the Ramsey personalities. Plus, we have a new platinum package that includes dinner with Dave and all the Ramsey personalities. So go to RamseySolutions.com/events for tickets and start to take charge and control over your life.
Love it. And I assume we'll be getting deep dish at some point.
We better.
I think that needs to happen. And probably a live Smart Money Happy Hour recording.
We've been doing that in some of these, and they're so
It's a
fun.
blast.
And they're so fun.
I can't promise it, but we'll push for it.
We will
Rachel's
try.
got
We'll
some pull
try
around
hard.
Here. All right, let's go to the phones. Cody joins us up next in Atlanta, Georgia. Cody, welcome to the show. Are you with us, Cody?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How's it going? How can we help?
I'm good. Hey, so I had a question as far as collections went. Got a collection bill, working on pretty much paying off all the debt, and that's pretty much the last one. I know Dave recommends do a cashier's check for it. I was seeing, is privacy.com okay for something like that? Or should I really probably do a cashier's check on it?
So privacy.com, where'd you hear about that?
I've been using it for a bit. Like I said, I know how it works. I was just seeing,
Yeah. Well, I was curious because we've talked about it on this show, and producer James Childs is a fan too. But I could see that being a good tool because you can set limits on it. And so that's what you want to look out for is you don't want to give them just blind access to your account. And so you can set a limit where you say, hey, this is a one-time transaction. It creates a virtual debit card based on your actual debit card. So it's a lot safer, and you can set those limits. So that would be a good modern way to do this. How much is the debt that's in collections?
$725.
$725?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, that's the last one. I have 2 other medical bills, and then me and my wife have no debt. That's called you and Rachel, actually a couple months ago, about selling the very nice car that I had bought.
And you did it?
Yes, I did, and bought another one in cash. So
that's awesome,
Cody.
It's fun to hear the "Where Are They Now" stories.
But they actually listen to us.
It does.
We're so shocked, honestly. We're like, no, they're not going to sell the car.
Paid off. Nope. Paid off the student loans too. I don't have those. I don't have to worry about,
Good for you,
That's
Cody.
awesome. And you have
That's
the money
awesome.
to pay off the collections debt today?
Yep. And I still have above, a couple thousand in a emergency fund.
Nice. And you're going to knock out those medical debts with some of that money?
Yep. As soon as they're done processing. Yep.
Man, that's awesome.
Good for you, Cody. We're excited for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
But that's totally cool. If you want to do privacy.com, just make sure you have those parameters on there to set limits.
Okay. Can I be ignorant for a second?
You can.
What is it?
So it's a website, and I use it for like trial subscription things because it creates a virtual debit card. So it has totally different numbers than your debit card,
Okay.
but it's attached to your debit card.
Okay.
And you can set limits and say, hey, this is for one transaction only. You can only use this up to $100. This only works for the next 30 days. And so you can set a lot of cool parameters on this virtual debit card.
And you use it for trials for subscriptions?
Yeah, so
Why?
websites where I'm
because
like, hey,
you don't want to put
I don't
your
want to
debit
forget.
card.
Yes. Or so sites I'm like, I don't want to put my actual debit card information. So it's great for actual data protection,
Okay.
fraud, things like
Yeah.
that, because I can just shut down that card, delete it anytime I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a really cool tool that people can use when shopping online for safety.
Yeah.
So I would use it across all online shopping.
Interesting.
Because there's a big fear out there. People go, I'm going to use my credit card, Rachel, because the debit card's not safe. That's your money if they take it.
Yeah.
So this card virtually is different. You can set all kinds of different parameters.
Interesting. Okay. Who
So
knew?
it's a cool tool. Not sponsored, but I think it's a pretty cool
That's a good
product.
Yeah, I think
for
it's
the
awesome.
modern
Well,
era.
there's some great. That's what's funny about the financial products out there. There's some that are just terrible, and I feel like we talk about those on this show a lot to warn you all.
Yes.
And then there's those that are actually very helpful and useful. And there
Well,
you
most
go.
financial products exist to sell you debt, and
Yeah.
this one actually is for the debit card users out there.
Yes.
Keep us safe.
Love it.
All right, Andrew is in Providence, Rhode Island. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
So I'm on baby step 7. I'm 33 years old, and my wife and I are looking to build our future house. And I hired a real estate professional, got some numbers, and I'm GCing the project myself. And with all the numbers that I came up with, I'm going to be into the house for $975,000.
Okay.
That does not include the land. I paid for the land in cash.
Awesome.
So with that being said, I can't borrow more than $300,000 to stay within my 25% of my monthly income between me and my wife. And with the sale of my house at the bare minimum at $550,000, I'm going to be short roughly $125,000. The project is going to take roughly a year to build. And in that time, I would be obviously saving money. So my question to you is, do I pull the trigger with proceeding with building the house, knowing that within the next year I can save the $125,000? Or do I wait to save that $125,000 and then go ahead and sell my house and start building my house? I'm just concerned with the real estate market right now.
Yeah. How much do you make, Andrew?
Between me and my wife, we're roughly $225,000 a year.
And do you guys have a lifestyle that would support you saving $125,000 in a year?
Yeah. So her and I are extremely frugal. We don't do anything. We don't have any car payments. We don't go out.
Yeah.
It's our dream to build this house, and within the last 6 years, listening to you guys, I've paid my house off in cash, and I've paid a piece of land that was worth $225,000 in cash. So
Awesome.
That's great.
So when would you have to actually have any money due? Would you get a construction loan for this?
yeah, so I would pull out a construction loan, and I'd be borrowing $300,000. But I'd be short based off of the numbers, and the numbers that I came up with, I fluffed up. I have a spreadsheet, and I added a little bit on to each one just because I know things can change within a year, construction costs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And also the sale of my house, I went on the low end at $550. My real estate professional said roughly I could get anywhere between $550 and $600 on the high end. So
But that's not
if I
net of
pulled-
fees.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So we have to also factor that in. I mean, I feel like
Okay.
this is a little bit on the risky side. I might give it some pause until we're closer to that finish line, because right now you're battling, what if the housing market moves, and what about if I don't have the 125, what if our income changes? It just gives me some pause.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would feel comfortable with you guys trying to cash flow the 125,000. Because my husband and I, when we were building, we were short a little bit, and we just knew within that 9 months what we were going to make. We had locked in our income, and so we knew that. But my only fear, honestly, Andrew, is that it's contingent on the sale of your home, and with the market being so crazy, that almost makes me more nervous. If you guys could pause for 9 months, 12 months, and save some cash and have some buffer, I think that would give me more relief and more peace during the process versus being so stressed out. So I would probably pause, like George said, just for a little bit, save some money, and then proceed. But I think you run your numbers well, and
you guys
and
are
I trust that. Yeah.
And also live a little. You guys have worked so hard. Enjoy your life. Do go out. So create some goals in all of those areas, and you'll get that dream home in no time. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour, and I happen to have the co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour with me, Rachel Cruz. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. And on top of Smart Money Happy Hour, Rachel, I recently launched my own YouTube channel.
That's right,
So
George.
we're both YouTubers now.
And it's killing it. You've done such a great job.
Thank you.
The numbers are like fantastic.
Well, the team that we have on
content
this
too.
is incredible. The editors, the designers, the writers, they have worked so...
Your set
the set is beautiful.
is amazing.
Thank you.
Well done.
It's no Rachel Cruz Show set, but...
No, it is nicer than the Rachel Cruz Show set.
Wow.
And I tip my hat to you, George. I think it's fantastic.
Well, I'll have you on as a guest.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Just right down the road, down the hall from
Really
yours.
appreciate that. Thank you.
So go check it out. I think we've got about 10 videos out there, and people are loving it. They're commenting on the editing, the humor. We're taking the Ramsey principles to 2028, and we are living in the future.
We are in the future.
So many memes. It's a good time. Go check that out. All right, Brandy joins us up first in Charlottesville, Virginia. Brandy, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, George. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I know Dave says that options are great, but right now I can't feel the same about that. I have 3 houses right now. I lost my mom in 2001 and my dad in 2002. And in that, I inherited 2 houses, plus I have my own here. When my mom passed away, I became power of attorney for my grandmother. So that house that I inherited from my mom was actually hers, and she had lifetime living rights in there. But I had to move her to a nursing home close to me, so she's no longer in that house, and it's vacant. So my question for you guys today is, should I sell both houses, or should I sell one house and rent the other out for like additional income? Because I do have a little bit of debt. I've been working on my smallest to largest. I don't know what or how to make a good decision. You know, everybody wants to tell you, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Like, I think I know, but I have so many feelings with both of these houses that...
Yeah, they're sentimental to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That plays into this. Do they have mortgages on them at all?
So my dad's house does, and that's an hour away from me. My grandmother's house is 6 hours away.
Okay.
So
and it's paid for, and that one's paid for.
Yeah.
Okay. And Brandy, where are you at financially? You said you have some debt. How much consumer debt do you have?
Let's see. I have a little over, let's see. So I have a boat at 31. I have my car at 6,800. So it's about 30, let's just round it up, 40,000.
40,000. Okay. Do you have any savings, any cash in the bank?
I do.
Okay. How much do you have?
Let's see. I have a high yield at 40,000.
Okay.
And I have my 3 to 6 months in that. And then I have a 15,000 just regular savings account.
Okay.
Wow.
And last question. Sorry, we're gathering numbers to help you.
You're good. Yeah.
And then the two houses, if they sold today, how much would they be worth?
So the house 6 hours away, the assessment is $125,000.
Okay.
I don't really know like what I would put it on, like what it should go for.
But around that, okay.
And then the other house, it's assessed at about $250,000.
And how much is owed on that?
$92,000.
$92,000. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's the good news. You can pay off your consumer debt today without even worrying about what we're going to do with these homes.
Yeah, I know.
You've kind of done like baby step 3, baby step 1, then baby step 2. And
Brandy, when you called in, I felt this sense that you were overwhelmed. You're managing a lot right now. You've been through a lot.
Yes. Yes.
And so if I were in your shoes, what I would want is simplicity, because there's just freedom and peace in simplicity. And simplicity means less payments. In fact, no payments would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And so if you paid off your consumer debt, you would still have $15,000 in liquid cash, which is about half your emergency fund.
So, and then listen to this, Brandy. And then what I would say, part B to that, if I were you, which I want to be sensitive because I can tell in your voice, it's a hard topic to talk about, but I would sell the homes. Not probably, I would.
Do you want to be a landlord?
Because the one is 6 hours away, and that's going to be we never ever really recommend being a long distance landlord. It's just not feasible. It adds way more stress to your life than blessing. And so I would sell that home. And then I honestly, unless you wanted to be a landlord, I would not keep that second home, your dad's home either. To George's points, when you cash all this out, George was writing down the numbers, so forgive me, I wasn't. But when you sell all of that, you have money in the bank, you're going to be able to pay off consumer debt. You're going to have a lot of cash available to you, Brandy, to be able to invest and possibly even pay off your current home. How much do you have in your current home? How much is owed?
$246,000.
Okay. So, I mean, you can I would see this as a continuation of their legacy. And it's so easy for us to put sentimental value in things, right? Homes or even actual tangible items. And I understand it absolutely. But I also think that these are becoming more of a burden to you and more of a heaviness than a blessing and levity. And so I think a beautiful thing to do for their legacy is that their legacy is not wrapped up in their homes, right? That is true for anyone, right? That is here, that our love and our memories and things our relationships are not tied to actual things, even though things can symbolize that. It is still just stuff. And so I think there's a really great, there's great progress that can be made for you, Brandy, from a stress standpoint. I would sell those 2 homes. I'd pay off your consumer debt, put that cash. You may have enough.
I'm looking at the numbers. I think if she sold both, she could clear her mortgage.
Wow.
With the money she has in the bank, clear her consumer debt, which means she could be completely debt-free with no payments in the world.
I think that's a beautiful thing, Brandy. That's what we would do if we were in your shoes.
And you're going to have to grieve these homes being sold. Yep. But either way, someone living in that house, you're not going to like that either. You're going to go, that's my dad. That's not your house.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And so it's stressful either way, but I think there's less stress in having no payments in the world. So thank you for the call and trusting us with this question. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget. So as a spender, there's nothing better than having extra cash on hand just to splurge a little, have a little fun. So I'm really excited to announce our Ramsey Cash giveaway is back. So this is your chance to win up to $500 or the $3,000 grand prize. So you guys, it's very easy to enter. All you have to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway, and you can enter every day to increase your chances for winning. Now, there's no purchase necessary, and you must be 18 or older to win. And we aren't stopping there. So we actually have an incredible sale going on, and I love a good sale. So we are running our $10 sale. So you can get the books and tools that you need to build wealth, find the career that you were made for, improve your mental health, and deepen your relationships. The $10 sale even includes all the Questions for Humans cards, the conversation cards from Dr. John Deloney, and my book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. And so this is a great sale. Make sure that you check it out. And these conversation cards are really fun that Dr. John Deloney did. So here's one, George. What's the most expensive mistake you've ever made?
Ooh, that's a fun one. Well, not fun. I mean, in hindsight, it's fun.
That's right.
Going $36,000 into student loan debt is probably just by the numbers the most expensive financial mistake I've ever made. How about you?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what have we done that was like that? Was so stupid.
I'm trying to think of one with like zeros on the end.
I know, because things coming to my head aren't like the most expensive, but we paid
purchases.
way too much for like landscaping light. I feel like we've done things that we were like that.
You just overspent on it.
Yes. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to come up with it.
Makes you sick to your stomach.
I know. So if you guys want to, again, check out any books or the conversation cards, go to RamseySolutions.com for the $10 sale. Make sure to check it out.
Love it. Well, Rachel, the housing market has been a huge topic of discussion, and millennials and Gen Z are feeling real defeated right now. If you're a renter out there and you're going, I want to own a home one day, and we got this article that was interesting because we've talked about home ownership as a part of your wealth building strategy, and USA Today published this headline, Why It Pays to Buy a House. Homeowners become 40 times wealthier than renters in the past decade. And so it goes on to say low-income homeowners, those earning no greater than 80% of the median income, built $98,900 in wealth, while the middle income and upper income, they accumulated $122 to $150,000 in wealth. So that's a pretty shocking number. That's a big gap between those low-income to high-income homeowners. And it says over a long period of time, homeownership is a solid path towards building wealth. And it works in two ways. First, you have the advantage of home price appreciation. And second, it forces homeowners to save for monthly mortgage payments, which renters don't have. So I have a lot of, this is great for those that are homeowners.
Yeah.
They're like, yes, this is awesome.
This is great.
And it was a huge part of what helped me become a net worth millionaire is home appreciation.
Yep.
We live in one of the most expensive areas of the nation. I think it's the top 11th county or something in the country. And home ownership, that home appreciation really adds to your net worth. And so when you're sitting out there renting, it hurts to watch all of that happen. And now not only are you seeing your friends become wealthy, but you're priced out.
That's right.
So what do you tell people when they go, Rachel, I really want to become a homeowner? It feels more impossible than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is frustrating, and I think we're all feeling that. I think, and again, those of you that are in the market to buy a home, you're really feeling that. But still, at the end of the day, homeownership is a long-term plan. That is something that you want to be part of your financial picture. I think everyone should, that should be a goal for everyone, but that doesn't mean you need to go out and buy a home now. If you have tons of debt, if you have no savings, that home is going to be a curse. I mean, it's going to end up making you broker over time. And in the present, it's going to be stressful, and that is not worth it. So getting yourself in a financial position where it is wise to then go and purchase the largest investment you probably will ever make, which is your home. Take the time, be patient with it, even though I still want that to be part of your financial picture. So be out of debt, have an emergency fund, the 3 to 6 months of expenses, have a good down payment. I mean, if you're a first time home buyer, you can, 5% is the lowest we would say. But even if you can get up to 20%, which people kind of like balk at us saying that, but hey, if you can save up a good down payment, that's going to help you in the long run. So again, it should be part of your goal, but it needs to be in the right order and not just go and just decide I want to be a homeowner. Because
we get calls every week on the show with someone going, Rachel, I think I need to sell my house.
Yes.
We made a rash decision. We thought impulsively that we're wasting money on rent. We got to jump into a house.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized, oh my gosh, home ownership is wildly expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great thing. And obviously this article shows it, right? That it's a great investment to do it. And I know it's frustrating to feel like you're throwing money away to rent, but if you're broke and you're living paycheck to paycheck, the last thing you're going to want is a home, is to own a home, because everything then is on you. So it just creates a lot of stress.
I saw a great quote that said, rent is the most that you'll pay. A mortgage is the least that you'll pay. And it was showing that when you rent, you don't have to worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Property taxes going up, homeowners insurance going up, maintenance, repairs, all of those things that come with home ownership that make it wildly expensive. And so you can't just compare apples to apples, my mortgage payment versus my rent payment.
That's a great point. Yep.
So I feel for y'all out there, and I love the old timeless quote, the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The next best time is today. And so if that's you, you're going, man, I wish I could have bought a house when it was $7,000. I understand. I wish that too. And we bought our house years ago.
In 1942, when houses were.
Yes. So I get it. When the boomers are like, I don't understand. I could buy a house on a part-time job back in my day. That's frustrating, boomer. You're not helping. You're not helping when you say things like that. Houses are, I mean, on average now, what, $400,000? And if you're in a high cost of living area.
And here's the deal too. Wages have not gone up with all of this either. So like there's a reality of what we're living in. And I think that we can kind of complain. I guess we are. We can be down and out. But you do look back when inflation was high in the 80s. There has been, every generation has felt a downturn economically. And so for us, especially the millennials, whether you're mid-millennial or early millennial, this is really our first. I mean, the recession was big, but for a lot of us, we were in college during that time. We're just entering the workforce. And so for us having families and, having careers over a few years, this is the first big hit that we have felt. So it does hurt, whether it's inflation, the housing market, all of it. We feel it, but every other generation has felt it too.
Yeah.
Because they've had their own too.
Well, looking at the data, it was interesting. It was homes in the 1950s were about 2 times the average salary. Now the average home is 6 times the average salary. And so to your point, inflation has really hurt while wages haven't gone up fast enough.
Right.
They're still as higher than they've ever been.
Now, I will say though, square footage wise,
oh my gosh,
smaller home on average.
I was looking up
so that's another thing, right? If you went and bought a smaller home, how would that be? But the average home in America now, square footage wise, is
our expectations
huge
are
compared
out of
to what
control.
they were in the 50s.
I looked up my childhood home, which my parents still live in. It's less than 1,000 square feet, according to the internet. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. We have family of 4.
And you don't remember it either, do you?
No.
You don't remember it being that small. I walked through our childhood home and I walked into like the bathroom that all the kids shared. And I was like, and through high school, that's like where Denise and I would get ready for dance. I mean, and it was tiny.
Like, how did we survive
Tiny.
this?
And I just thought, but I never thought that. I mean, when you're in it,
now it's like it doesn't have a double vanity.
So parents out there, you're not harming your children. You're not harming your children.
Yes.
If you don't have this massive
so here's what that
room
tells me.
and all that.
Reset your expectations. Maybe you get into a small condo or a townhome for now, and you don't need a 4,000 square foot home for your first home. So step into it slowly, and you will get there. And if you are looking to buy a home, you got to work with a pro. This is a big one, Rachel. People make the mistake of going, I could do for sale by owner. I'm not going to use a professional. My Uncle Larry just got his license. Do this the right way.
That's right.
And we have an entire network of Ramsey trusted ELPs. Those are real estate pros in your area who can help you with this process. They sell a whole bunch of homes. They know how to strategize and get you the best deal. And if you're looking to sell, they can help with that as well. And they are marketing pros in that arena. So I feel for you guys out there who are renting, but renting is not a sin. You're doing the right thing. And debt is the biggest thing holding you back from getting that down payment. Because when you have payments up to your eyeballs, it's hard to save up a down payment. So get out of consumer debt, get the emergency fund, do this the right way, even if it's a 5-year journey instead of a 1-year journey. You'll be okay. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. The number to call, 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk life and money. John joins us up next in D.C. John, welcome to the show.
Hey Rachel. Hey, John. How are y'all doing today?
Doing well. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'm 22 years old. I just finished college back about a year ago in May. And I moved up to D.C. to start working, and I feel like I have quite a bit of disposable income, and I really wanted to call in to figure out what I should be doing, right? And should I be investing or saving up for a house in the next few years, or, I'm just kind of get some direction from y'all.
Cool. So what's your financial picture look like?
Typically, base is around 110 for my salary. I get a bonus of a few thousand and employer benefits that they tack on to stuff of about 10,000 on an annual basis. Other than that, I usually right now have about 12% of gross pay going into my Roth 401k, about 15% into company stock purchase, and then about 24% goes to taxes. So after that, it's about 49% of gross pay I get to take home.
Cool. And what kind of debt do you have right now, if any?
None.
Cool. And how much is the total that you have liquid?
In terms of stock investing and
non-retirement savings? Plus all of your liquid savings and checking.
Probably about between 40, 45.
Awesome. And your next goal is to get a house?
I mean, ideally, it definitely would. It'd be nice, but I know interest rates are quite high right now. So maybe I was thinking save up even more and then hopefully things stabilize in a few years. But, properties always get more expensive. So.
Well, you're in the D.C. area, so I imagine you're looking to pay a pretty penny even for a condo over there.
Yeah. If anything, I'd try to wait and go back to Virginia or North Carolina where it's closer to family for me and buy there instead.
Okay, so you won't be in D.C. for a long period of time, for the long term.
I would say probably not more than 2 or 3 more years.
Okay. Yeah, well, if that's the case, then John, I would not buy something, obviously, then 2 or 3 more years as you finish out your job there or whatever it is that's keeping you there. And then when you decide I want to settle down in an area, that's when I would probably pull the trigger. And by that point, John, I mean,
you'll have 6 figures saved.
Yeah, you'll have some great money saved up for a down payment at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought process I've been having.
So I would just put that savings on. If I were you, since you know it'll probably be 2 to 3 years, I would just do a high yield savings account.
Yeah.
And put the cash there. Mm-hmm. And when it's time for the down payment, to take it out versus putting it in the market, just because of it being such a short term, right? 2 to 3 years of a goal. Just make sure that you're not putting the market's volatility. It's just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's always a little risky if you know within 2 to 3 years that you're going to be spending that money.
Yeah. Well, in high yield savings accounts, the rates right now are so good.
They're so good. That's
I'm
so true.
jealous. Like when we were saving for our house, it was at, I think, 2% with some bonuses, and I was freaking out that we were getting 2% on a savings account. Now you can get 4% or higher.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep.
So I would just sock it away there. Make sure you leave your 3 to 6 months emergency fund separate from the home down payment fund. So anything beyond that emergency fund becomes your down payment, and set a goal for it of, hey, the house is probably going to be $700,000. I want to save up $200,000. You run the numbers, stick to a 15-year fixed. That's no more than a quarter of your after-tax income. So you don't include your investments or your health care in that. Just after Uncle Sam takes his cut, what would be left over each month, and take a quarter of that.
Cool. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great job, John.
22 years old, crushing the game.
I know. Well done.
Wise beyond his years.
Well done.
All right, Rachel, it's time for our question of the day, and it's brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you've got a long list of to-dos, but Neighborly has local pros like Housemaster, 5-Star Painting, Window Genie, and Junk King to check items off that list. Visit neighborly.com today to schedule home service experts near you.
And today's question comes from Charlene in Georgia. I'm currently on the market for a new car, a new-to-me car. I stopped by the dealership and told the salesman the price that I wanted to spend on a car. He quickly figured out that I was going to pay cash, and he responded that he didn't have anything in my price range, and he wanted me to finance at least $5,000 for him to be able to help me out. I declined his offer, and after I left, he called me regarding a car he wanted me to see. So I got there as soon as I could. However, the car was sold just minutes before I got there. I spoke to several of my friends, and they say that the sales rep gets a bigger commission if you finance a car. They said I will have a hard time at a dealership and should try a private sale. Is this true?
Well, I can tell you anecdotally that it can be true. Like they experienced, dealerships do make a lot of their money on financing, and they can just refuse to sell you a car if they're scummy and go, oh, you're paying cash? Never mind. Or they go, oh, you're going to have to pay an extra $3,000. That price was for folks who are financing. And so not all dealerships are created equal. I will say that. So I would try to find an independent dealership, a used car dealership versus one of these new car dealerships to try that. You could also go the private sale route. And either way, I'm going to do a pre-purchase inspection. It'll cost you about $100. Go to the mechanic of your choosing. Have them look it over. It's worth every penny to know that you're not about to get screwed. And here's the thing. When you go and tell them, they say, how do you plan on paying today? That's always a question they ask up front to figure out if you're financing. So I don't think it's unethical to just go, I haven't decided yet.
I don't know, and see how they.
And say, I'd really like to land on out-the-door price before we talk about how I'm going to finance it.
That's good.
And so that's the key. The out-the-door price is what you're looking for. And once they agree to that, then you're good.
Yeah.
Then you can tell them, all right, I'm ready to close the deal.
This is it. Yep.
But until then, it can be dicey. Now, when we bought our last car, Whitney's car, we told him, he asked, and I was like, we're going to pay cash. He was like, okay, cool. And then we went through the transaction, and it was the same price that was advertised online. They didn't try to pull a fast one on us.
I don't think I realized that. Maybe that's being naive, but I feel like every car that we've bought,
you just pay the price.
I think so.
That was listed at.
Yeah. I didn't know with cash. I didn't know that if you're a cash purchaser, they will like jack up the price.
Lately, they've been doing that with how crazy the car market's been, which is not cool. But we know that car dealerships make most of their money from financing,
for sure,
versus the spread on the car
of cash. Yep.
So it is frustrating out there, but it's not a deal breaker. I would just literally not go to that dealership and go, all right, I'm going to take my business elsewhere.
That's right. And the key here too, George, is cash.
Yes.
paying
And not a
cash.
briefcase of cash, because people have tried that. And I'm like, no, that you don't want to take $20,000
Oh my gosh.
in cold hard cash.
Yeah.
We're talking about just money you have in your bank.
Yes.
And what's crazy is a lot of the times you can use a debit card if you clear it with your bank first, that there's a large transaction coming. You can also do a cashier's check or a money order.
Yeah.
And you can take that cashier's check, and if the price ends up being a little more, you can cover the difference with cash or your debit card.
Yep, absolutely. But it's the car loan part of our job when we talk to people that have taken money, they've taken out a loan to pay for a car. It is one of the more frustrating debts, I think, because your car is going down in value and you're paying interest on something that is going down in value. So
and interest rates are sky high right now for cars.
Yes.
It's
So
wild,
you guys,
especially used cars.
where you can pay cash. If you're going to be replacing your car, save up and pay for it. It may not be the most beautiful car in the world. It may not be your favorite car, but at least you're paying cash for it. So it's so frustrating because to America, it's like, it's our thing. We love our cars, and it says something about us. We have this like pride, this dignity in our cars. And I'm like, it's not worth the sleepless nights and the living paycheck to paycheck, or where that $700, $800, $900 car payment every month could be going for investing and actually letting that money work for you versus working for the bank.
Absolutely. And people always come at us, Rachel, going, there's no such thing as a beater car. You can't find a car under $15,000.
Yes, you can.
Just go to any car, go to Auto Trader and then sort low to high within a 50-mile radius, and I promise you. Now, again, they're not going to be the most beautiful cars.
No.
It's probably going to be 10, 15 years old. It might have 100,000 miles. But guess what? Cars can go for like 300,000 or more.
To a Honda Civic, a Toyota Camry.
Love a Civic. Love a Camry. I'm here for it, Rachel. Be smart. Don't go into debt for a car. I know it's a wild time, and you think you deserve that car, but I think you need to earn it and just drive right now. Drive like no one else until you can drive like no one else. That's how it goes. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If you've been listening to this show and you're confused maybe about some of the lingo we use, we're talking about the baby steps and gazelle intensity, well, our team has created a really great tool so that you can dive deeper. And if you just go to RamseySolutions.com and hit the Get Started button, we will help you figure out the best next step for your financial journey based on exactly where you're at today. Just go to RamseySolutions.com and click on Get Started. Sandra joins us up next in Portland, Maine. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Hi, George. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, I just wanted to get your advice. Last year, my husband and I had to use some of our emergency fund to purchase a new car, well, a new to us car. And we've been investing and trying to replenish that emergency fund simultaneously. And it's taking us a little bit longer than we like. So my question is, in order for the process to go faster, we would stop the investing and just fully fund the emergency fund again. But we're nervous doing that. We're a little older. We're 47. We just started investing a couple years ago, and we don't want to stop. We really enjoy it. So we just wanted to get your take on it. If you think it's a big deal stopping for what would be maybe 4 to 5 months, or just trying to do both of them at the same time.
Well, to answer your question, Sandra, no, it is not going to be a big deal if you guys pause for 4 to 5 months. And in fact, if you guys had consumer debt, there's people your age that we tell to pause while they pay off debt, which could be a 2-year journey. So this is very, very short term. Okay, you are going to be totally fine. And I think it's more, it's more into your benefit right now and then for the next 15 years just to have cash stashed away in an emergency fund than your retirement right this moment, right? So kind of even more of the present, looking at taking care of that is going to be more beneficial to you to have cash available if something were to happen to you guys or your jobs or health or whatever it may be, that you have that money versus it sitting in a 401k. So having some of that emergency fund it's really big. That's why we have it at baby step 3. So I would pause, but also I would be curious, since it's just going to take you guys maybe 4 months, is there places in your budget that you can just cut or maybe earn some extra income or just do something to do that quickly? Because even there's a level of, it's just more annoyance of going to HR and going and having to pause your retirement, like the logistics. I just wonder if there's something y'all can do in the next 30, 60 days just to get it funded really quickly.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure we could go back to what we were doing in baby step 2. But as you know, that was very hard, and we could do it, and we would if. Well,
I think that's what's causing y'all not to have the emergency fund, though, Sandra. I think that you guys you're living like you're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6, but you're not there yet, and so that intensity still, I would push for that because you're technically still on baby step 3. Again, not for long. So even take a month or 2 months and do your every dollar budget and be like, okay, what if we paused all of our subscriptions? What if we didn't go out to eat? Like, yeah, for 60 days, what if we just pulled everything back, put all that extra cash, and then we can keep moving on? It's going to just be a blip, but it's going to be you guys saying, oh man, we're going to have to be uncomfortable for 60 days.
Yeah. And here's the problem is people get comfortable when they're already investing and they still have some work to do on the debt or emergency fund side. So the reason I like pausing the investments is it will cause you to move faster because you've got a fire under you now to get back to investing because of how much you love it. So I like having something that is fueling me to keep going. I think we need that as humans for our psyche. Otherwise, we just love the comfort of going, we're fine, we're investing, we'll get the emergency fund when we get there. And then we're frustrated because we're not where we want to be.
I mean, I'm curious, Sandra, are you guys on the more of the 3-month or the 6-month side that you're wanting to save for?
We save on the 6-month side.
Okay. So you guys have what saved now? 3 months?
We have 13,000. So yeah, I think that's about half.
It'll be about, so about 3 months worth. Do you guys have kids? What kind of careers are you in?
We do have children. One is already out of the house and the other graduates in a month. Their college is already paid for. And as far as careers, we're in the same career we've been in for 30 years, so we're stable in our careers.
I mean, honestly, Sandra, you guys could just be good with 3 months. I'm not trying to get you out of this.
Yeah. You could just kind of add to it slowly and get there over time.
I mean, I don't know. I would just, maybe you add a few $1,000s more just for some buffer. But I mean, we say 3 to 6 months, and we say on the 3-month side, it's honestly you guys. It's people that have stable incomes that, your children are more grown and gone. You don't have little ones running around that you're having to pay for daycare and all of that. So the more stable your life is where you can lean more on that 3 month. 6 month is more, you have I always feel like if you're a young family with lots of kids, if your income is commission based and it could go up and down, if you're in a field of work that, maybe there's job, I don't know, it's a little bit more.
Layoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. You would lean more 6 months. So you guys may be just okay with the 3 months, Sandra. I think that.
What's your household income?
About 130.
Okay. And what's in the nest egg currently?
You mean in retirement?
Yes.
Well, we just started 2 years ago, so it's not a lot, but we have about 20,000 in our Roth, and I'm sorry, we have about 20,000, and that includes our Roth and my husband's 401k.
That's great.
Cool. And you're going to still, you guys are still young, so you've got another, 15, 20 years of career to keep investing and keep moving, and you're going to pay off the house and be able to invest even more then and do catch-up contributions.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So I would map it out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would look towards that future, and you can use our investment calculator at RamseySolutions.com. Get with a SmartVestor Pro on our website in your area, a financial advisor who can walk you through this and give you some peace. Because right now it just feels like we haven't been investing and we're not going to be able to retire, versus just putting it all on paper and going, if we just stay this path and follow these baby steps, what will happen?
Yeah.
And my guess is you're going to be baby steps millionaires.
You'll be fine.
And you'll be fine in retirement with a paid-for house and probably $1 million in the bank. Mm-hmm. That makes me feel good.
Great job, Sandra.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Should we try to take a quick one here,
Yep.
Rachel? All right, Tommy, let's get to him in Hartford, Connecticut. What's going on?
All right, I'll be quick for you. So here's the little lowdown. My wife and I make a household income of about $340,000. We just got married about 3 months ago, and we're looking to
Congrats.
purchase our first home.
Awesome.
Say that again?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So my question would be, would you recommend buying a house for about $525,000, but we need some cosmetic updates and like some painting and just some other minor tweaks? Or would you recommend going into paying a little bit more, like $625,000 for a more move-in ready house that's more prepared for like a family? I guess my question would be like, what would you suggest doing, and what would be more valuable to resell in about 7 to 10 years if we decided to maybe upgrade a home?
Well, that's very dependent on the area specifically of those houses. How much do you guys have saved currently?
Both in the same area.
Same area. Okay. So your income's $340,000. How much do you guys have saved currently for the down payment?
We have in savings. We have about $100,000.
Okay. So my guess is if you're going to do a 15-year fixed, which is the only one I'd recommend, where the payment's no more than 25% of after-tax income, how much down payment would you need on, let's say, the fixer-upper?
We would need roughly 85 to 90, probably.
Down payment?
Down payment. So probably like 140.
Okay. So we're $40,000 away from the cheaper house, and then how much more to get the move-in ready house?
That'd be about 170, most likely.
Okay. So there's the gap to me is what's the time difference between the two, and which one do we want more, and are we willing to wait to save up the higher amount?
Okay.
I don't think there's a right or wrong here, Rachel.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think it's whatever you guys want.
It's probably the difference with a few months making $340,000.
Yeah, and honestly, usually your newer homes, there's less to do, less maintenance
And
from
it'll
a
probably
traditional
appreciate
sense.
more.
Yeah, so I would almost lean that if it's just a $30,000 difference for you guys to save. But I don't know,
like
that's
that
where I
plan.
lean. But I think maybe the old house has character and you guys love that look, and it's
Go
kind of
with
just a
what you love,
preference. Yeah.
But make sure you do it with those parameters, and you'll be all right. Thanks so much for the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. You hop in, and we'll talk about your life and your money. And if you're listening to this show, I'm going to make a wild assumption that you hopefully enjoy it. And if you do, let me remind you that this show is no cost to you. And so here's the only thing we would ask of you that's also free. Hit the like button wherever you're hanging out. Consider subscribing. Hit that button as well, or follow if you're on Spotify. And leave a review on the platform that you're listening on and let us know what you think of the show. And share it with a friend. A lot of the times people say, oh yeah, a friend told me to listen to it. They sent me this episode. They sent me this call or this YouTube clip, and it got me on board, and now I listen for motivation. So appreciate you all doing that. It helps us spread this message and spread the hope and impact we try to make every day. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Hayden is in Salt Lake City to kick us off. Hayden, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What's going on?
Yeah, I just have a question. Last year, I was on Babysit 2, and I just had a feeling that with all the tech layoffs and everything that were happening and the market, so I had stopped doubling down on debt, and I went to an emergency fund. I've built that emergency fund up to 6 months now with some of the expendable income that we have. And I just want to know if I should continue to pad that up with inflation being crazy, or if I should go back into diving into debt, or even putting in some money into my Roth or my future investments.
How much debt do you have?
Currently I have $75,000 in consumer.
All right, and what's in the emergency fund?
$30,000.
Okay. And that's all the liquid cash you have currently?
Yes.
Okay. So, number one, we're doing the baby steps out of order. And so I would encourage you to stick the plan. And right now you're making this decision, it sounds like, based on fears, which some are legitimate, right? There could be layoffs in the tech space.
Correct.
How
Yeah,
likely is that to happen for you?
Savings. I don't really know. That's the scary part of it.
Have there been layoffs at your company?
There was one round, but I made it through that. I'm just not sure if there will be another.
Okay. What kind of consumer debt is this?
I just have a truck and a travel trailer. My family, both of my children, are under school age, and I was in the military for 10 years. So my wife and I, we traveled where we met in Europe, and it's something we wanted to continue to do with our kids before they went into school. And it's just an affordable way because I can work from the road. And so that's why we went through and decided to get a travel trailer and a truck to pull that.
Oh, and you got a loan on both of them.
Correct.
Okay. Are you still traveling right now?
Yes, we travel probably 2 weeks out of every month, especially during the summertime when the weather's good.
Okay. And what's the household income?
Household income, we are grossing about $200K, and I net about $170.
Okay. So how quickly could we pay off this consumer debt?
I think if I stopped padding it my emergency savings, I could have that RV paid off by the end of the year, and then the truck probably paid off shortly after that. My wife's in grad school, and by the end of next year, she'll be making anywhere between $90,000 to $100,000. And then we just want to take all of her income and toss it towards all the remaining of our debt. And my big question is, with inflation, everything else, do I pad up my savings, my emergency fund a little bit more just to make sure that we're covered for 6 months? Or do I just say, hey, no more savings and let's just start tossing everything we have at debt?
Yeah, Hayden, you may not like our answer because we really do go back to the baby steps because it's just the proven plan that has worked. And we have found that when you don't have debt, not only financially are you freed up, but so many other places of your life you are freed up. And so what I would do if I were you, I mean, according to the baby steps, I would take all of your savings and I would throw it at the truck. Is the truck what do you owe on the truck?
I owe $51 on the truck and $23 on the travel trailer.
Okay. I would pay off the travel trailer today. I would take that savings and pay it off. And then I would work with, your wife to say, okay, what can we do to get this 51 paid off? And then start going back to your emergency fund. And I understand the fear of, hey, if something were to happen. But do you think, let's just paint a worst case scenario. Let's say you were laid off, okay? How quickly do you think you are marketable to go get another job?
I think pretty quick, and I don't know if my situation's unique because since I was in the military, I do get a VA disability, and I know you guys are big on don't count on the government, don't count on those paychecks, and I don't want to do that either. You don't know what those people in D.C. are going to do. My wife is using my GI benefits to go to grad school, so she gets like a $2,000 a month stipend.
That's great.
And then I get my VA disability, and the VA disability covers 100% of our consumer debt and our mortgage. And so if that went away, like if I got laid off and that went away, I would still have that VA disability and my wife's monthly stipend for school.
Okay. So y'all are
still be able to survive without dipping into the emergency fund.
Okay. So then that's another reason why I'm like so confident to say to use the savings to pay it off, to pay off your consumer debt, because you guys are good. You have so much padding around you with all of that I would focus, Hayden, completely on this. Because what's amazing to think about that if you guys paid all this off and then your wife goes and makes another $100,000 and you guys are bringing in, close to $300,000, you guys are gonna be able to get an emergency fund so fast. You're gonna be able to invest so quickly. And you guys may even say, look up like, hey, let's upgrade the trailer, and get something nicer. There's just so many possibilities that happen, but not having payments is going to help you get there faster. So we are all about following those baby steps because they work. So Hayden, if I were you, I would pay off the trailer today. Again, teaching that going all the way down to that $1,000 emergency fund and you guys attacking the truck after that. And then
what's the payment on the trailer?
Currently, the payment's only $250, and I've been putting $350 a month on it since we purchased it last year. So I've been always paying a little bit more on the RV and on the truck as well.
Okay. Are you investing at all right now?
No, I backed off all my investments. The only investment I have is into HSA. My son's got some medical conditions. He was born very early, so we just want to make sure we have something good over there in the HSA. We have probably about $10,000. Well, we have $11,000 sitting there now. So we'll cover out of pocket for the year if we needed to.
Good.
With insurance.
And what's encouraging, Hayden, if you guys paid that off today, you'd have $350,000 extra a month to throw towards the truck on top of the truck payment you're making too.
You're paying $350, add that up. And so here's what I'm seeing, Hayden, just based on the numbers. You could have only $45,000 left in debt. If you use 29 of your 30 savings towards the debt, making $200,000 with a freed up payment, you're going to pay off that 45 within 6 months max if you go hard at this thing. Then we build back up the emergency fund. Then you have true safety. Right now you have the illusion of safety. And so if you have this kind of scarcity mindset where like it all could come crashing down, well, if that's the case, then having no payments is the truest form of security. And so you're going to get there with this income. Your wife's going to finish grad school and have that great income. You guys are going to be back to a great financial spot. But temporarily, it's going to be scary. But we were rooting for you, man. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything, from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz, who is also my co-host on Smart Money Happy Hour. So if you're looking for some fun, some levity, some entertainment, with a healthy dose of financial teaching, it's kind of a...
Do it all.
Yeah, a spoonful of medicine, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
That's right.
I feel like that's what Smart Money Happy Hour is.
That's what it feels like.
And people are loving it. Kids listen to it. They're like, my 10-year-old loves it. And then people are like, I'm 75 and I love listening to you guys. So something for everyone with Smart Money Happy Hour.
We're all there.
We're here for it. So check it out this weekend. You can binge all the episodes that are out there every Thursday. All right. Claire joins us up next in Seattle, Washington. Claire, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What's going on?
So I'm turning 18 years old this year, and I really, really want to learn more about investing and where to start. I work as much as I can with school. I have some money in my checking account, some money in my savings account, but I've heard so many different options about, investing in a Roth IRA, doing real estate, all of this, but I'm just turning 18, and I really want to know what you guys recommend for young people looking to start investing.
That is awesome. Way to go.
Well done.
So you're graduating soon?
I'll graduate in a year. I'm going into my senior year this year.
Okay. And what are you doing for work?
I work at a small cooperative in my kind of small town. It's like an agriculture store almost.
Okay. And what do you make there?
A little over $16.50 an hour.
Cool. And how many hours are you working?
It's usually fluctuates week to week, between 16 and 20 hours.
Awesome. Way to go. And is your GPA solid?
Yes, 4.0.
There it is.
You're amazing,
She just
Claire.
proved, because I was just thinking in my head, Rachel, people who work 15 to 20 hours while in college have a higher GPA
That's right.
than those who don't.
And there we go.
And you proved it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are a rock star, number one. Do you have any debt?
I do not, no.
And how much do you have in checking and savings?
Savings, I haven't really been sure what to do with it, so I have maybe around $700. In my checking account, I have over $3,000.
Way to go. Gosh, you're doing so well. Okay, so I would set aside a little bit of that for kind of a starter emergency fund for you. Obviously, you don't have a
Okay.
ton of expenses now. Are you living on campus or on your own?
I still live at home. I'm enrolled in a local community college, so I live at home, and it covers my tuition, so I am still at home not paying anything for that.
That is awesome.
Great job.
Okay, so let's talk about investing. I think the Roth IRA is your best bet right now.
Okay.
Invest into that in a good growth stock mutual fund. You can diversify it across the 4 types that we talk about. We have a great investing guide on our website. I'll make sure Austin gets you a link over to that can help kind of unpack this at a deeper level than we can do on radio. But I think I don't know that you would max it out with the income that you have, but getting to that Roth IRA and consistently putting money away is going to be your best bet at 18.
Okay.
I don't think you need to worry about all the other stuff and all the noise you're hearing. You can stick to a Roth IRA. Once you start your career, you'll probably have an option for a Roth 401k, and that's another great place, and start doing 15% at that point.
Yeah, once you graduate, Claire, I mean, having some cash on hand between graduation and entering the real world and career, it's always good just to have some, because you may be moving. Who knows what kind of, if you take a job.
Could be deposits. You might need to get a car upgrade.
That's right.
Repair, maintenance.
Just kind of having some cash for that transition, just thinking through that. And then once you kind of get settled, which I have a feeling you'll probably settle pretty quickly, because I think you know what you want in life. You're very proactive. So once you, have that first job and you're settled in to where you are and got your first apartment, whatever it is, and you're renting, that's when, the 401k I would look into something like that. But for now, I'm with George. I think having cash on hand and looking at a Roth IRA, I think is going to be your best bet.
Yeah. And if you
Great
want
job,
help
Claire.
setting that Roth IRA up, you can get connected with one of our SmartVestor pros, which they don't work for Ramsey, but they are vetted investing professionals that we trust. And if you go to RamseySolutions.com, click on Trusted Pros, you can connect with one in the Seattle area, and they'll get you started there. Way to go. Awesome. Let's go on to Brandon in Dallas. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
You sound great.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, I have a question. My wife and I have gotten ourselves in a really bad spot, and so we have about $250,000 in consumer debt. That's credit cards and personal loans. We're just not sure what to do. We don't have enough income to pay all of our minimum payments, and so we're not sure if we should file bankruptcy or just stop paying until we can afford to settle, or we're just not sure where to go from here.
What caused y'all to go $250,000 in credit cards and personal loans?
Well, it's everything you guys say not to do. I decided, I should say, to flip a house and then buy 2 more houses with a lot of leverage. Right when interest rates went up, and we ended up taking a really big bath on these 3 properties. We lost money on all 3 of them.
I'm so sorry.
It's definitely been tough, and on top of that, during that time, I was so focused on that I'm in real estate, and my production pretty much went to zero during that time because my mind was just so wrapped up in that. So that's where we're at, and we're just really not sure where to go from here.
How old are you guys?
I'm 28. My wife is 27. We have a 2-year-old daughter, and we have another that's going to be arriving in October.
Oh my gosh. It's wild, Brandon. If you're familiar with my family story, that little baby that's going to be born, that was me. And my sister was 2 years old when my parents filed for bankruptcy. Wow. And through real estate issues. I mean, Dad did exactly what you did, but on a massive scale. And they called all of his notes. And he, if he was sitting here today, I think his empathy would be at the highest level, because he was literally you 35 years ago, which is pretty wild. So, I have such like a heart for those kids and your wife and all of it, because I know you guys are under a lot of stress, and I know there's probably a lot of shame and embarrassment, and you feel a lot of the weight. And so I hear all of that. So my question would be, how much did you make when you were in real estate and in your head was not all over the place with these other rentals, and you were so focused on it? What were you bringing in?
So, I mean, I would average probably somewhere between $9,000 and $10,000 a month. My wife also works. She brings in about $5,000 to $6,000 a month.
Okay.
And what is the case today? What's kind of the average month for you guys?
So right now she is still bringing that $5,000 to $6,000 a month. I've just rededicated myself to real estate as of last week. So right now it's nothing. Ideally in the next, if I'm realistic, maybe 90 to 120 days, we're going to start seeing some fruit from all the work I'm doing today.
Okay. Yeah, Brandon, I don't think you're not bankrupt. But I would say catching up on those minimum payments is your number one goal. And Brandon, I in your future here for the next probably 2 to 3 years, you're going to be doing more than just real estate. I mean, you're going to be doing side hustles at night. You're going to be exhausted. Because the amount of effort that you guys are going to put into this, because I believe you can, to get out of this hole, it's going to take a lot, and you're going to be really uncomfortable, and it's going to feel like a sacrifice, because that's what it's going to take to get out of this. And you guys have to, I was going to say, promise yourselves that a line in the sand is drawn, and for your kids' sake, you will never, ever go back to this again. That debt is off the table 100%. Because if you keep dabbling in it, and Brandon, I'm telling you, you're going to go right. You're going to look up again. You're going to be right back in this position. So you guys need a mindset shift, you and your wife, and draw a black and white line and say, never again. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
And for the next 3 years, our lives are going to look a whole lot different. And it's going to be really hard with those babies at home. But Brandon, you're going to be able to do this. You guys are going to be able to get out of this, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of sacrificing your lifestyle to put every penny possible to go towards this debt.
Yeah. Brandon, you said it was $250 total?
Yeah, but I do have kind of a wrench to throw in it. So I guess 2 questions. Number one is total debt payments. We have around $6,000 on top of living expenses of around $9,000. So number one is we're just not sure, like, how do we actually cash flow this thing? Like, what do we let go?
Okay, here's what I'm going to do, Brandon. I'm going to gift you guys Financial Peace University and Every Dollar Premium to get on a plan. But looking at the math on this, it's just a math equation. Can we throw $7,000 a month and be done in 36 months? It comes down to something that simple. Hang on the line. We'll get you those resources.
Well, if you haven't heard, we are doing something around here that we've never done before. So right now, all of the Ramsey personalities are leading a Financial Peace University class, including myself and George Camel. We are all doing it. So we want you to join our virtual Financial Peace University class. We are so excited about this because you're going to learn how to handle money, how to pay off debt, how to build wealth, all of it. And we are going to be your personal cheerleaders in the class. Plus, you are going to be in a community of thousands of others who are going to do this class with you. So we are so excited about this because we know what this class does. We know the lessons that are in it, the content that is in it will help you understand how to handle money and truly change your life. You're going to be in a different place with money from when you started to when you are done. So my class actually starts this Monday, coming up. So you got a couple of days to sign up. So go to fpu.com. That's fpu.com. And my class is going to be so fun. So you should come and join my class. George's class.
Shade was thrown right there.
George's class later in the summer, I think
true.
will be fun too. But mine's during a lunch break. I think yours is too later in the summer.
So Rachel's is Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. 12 p.m. Central Time, and that starts Monday. And what's cool is there's 9 lessons. Normally it's 9 weeks. We're crunching
No, I
this
think
down.
mine's 1 p. It is. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, George. You know my class
Questioning
better
my
than mine.
time
No, I
zones?
know. I was like
The
Central
nerve.
Time, Eastern Time. I know I'm terrible at that. Okay, but it's gonna be so fun.
It's great. So we're going to meet, let's see, 4 to 5 weeks,
Yep.
twice a week to cover all 9 lessons. So we're contracting it down to make it more palatable for those that want to get through it. This is
That's
kind of
right.
a boot camp version with us as your coordinators. And mine starts June 20th. So if you want to start later on in the summer, mine will be Tuesdays and Thursdays.
You
at
don't need to start
12:30
later. You need to
Eastern.
start on Monday with
Agreed.
me.
If you're ready to go, I'm going to say, if you're ready to go through FPU, do not wait for me. Rachel's going to be
I will be
a
there,
fantastic
and my
coordinator.
class will be taped, so you can rewatch if you need to, if you can't do that time. Or Jade Warshaw is doing a later time during my dates as well.
Yeah, hers starts on Monday as well.
Yep.
So if you're ready to go, and you can go on FPU.com, you can see all the different classes, the different times, do what works for you and your spouse if you can bring them along. But
Yeah,
it's
and
going
we're
to be
excited
awesome.
about this. I know. I think it'll be really fun.
And
So-
we've got thousands of coordinators all across the country that have been leading classes. And so we're
Yes.
like, how cool would it be if we all led a class during the summertime, which is traditionally a time when people may be, hitting the snooze button, going on vacation, overspending,
Yep.
and we want to get you on a proven plan. It's the same thing I went through 10 years ago that helped me go from broke to millionaire when I first started at Ramsey, and it is incredible. And I'm not just saying that because we are in the lessons as well now, which is really cool, but it's seriously life-changing content. The accountability where you have to show up every week, it really helps you actually follow through with this. So highly recommend it, fpu.com. Go sign up this weekend. All right, let's go to the phones. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Isaac joins us in San Diego up next. Isaac, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, George. It's a pleasure to be here, and a huge fan of Smart Money Happy Hour.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, man. How can we help?
Of course. So just a quick question. I found out, me and my wife, we both put 15% towards our TSP, our retirement. My question is, I found out that the 5% match that we get apparently only goes towards traditional. So my question would be, the 15% that we're putting in, do we continue to put 15% all in Roth, or do we switch it between half traditional, half Roth, or all traditional, now knowing that 5% is locked in traditional?
I would continue on with the Roth on your 15%.
Okay.
It's normal.
All right.
That's a legal thing with the IRS where the match has to be on the traditional side, and it's not an issue. All that means is that 5% portion, when you go to retire, you will have to pay taxes on that when you withdraw it.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually creates a really, it's actually, from a long-term, financial planning standpoint, it's good to have different buckets with different tax implications. Because you might go, hey, we want to tap into the tax-free money first based on our brackets and income and taxes, and then we're going to tap into the traditional side later. So it actually allows you more flexibility in retirement when you have different buckets you can pull from.
All right. Well, easy answer. I appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Great question. Way to go. Both investing 15% into those
Well done.
thrift savings plans.
So good,
So
Isaac.
thrifty. All right. Let's move on to Erica all the way in Anchorage, Alaska. Erica, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you guys so much for taking my call. I'm a little nervous right now.
Oh, it's just
fine.
us.
We're your
Just
friends.
little old
Well-
Rachel and George.
I know, I'm huge fans. So a little backstory. 2 weeks ago, my husband and I made our final mortgage payment, so we're on baby step 7.
Yay! Good job, Erica.
Awesome.
Well done.
Thank you. It hasn't sunk in yet, so I feel like by the end of this month, when we don't have next month's payment, I'm going to be like, oh, wow, there's no mortgage payment there.
So great.
We keep that.
That's awesome.
So we had a $30,000 emergency fund because I wanted, basically it covered like a whole year of expenses. So now without that mortgage payment, my husband and I are discussing pulling $10,000 from that savings now that it's offset without that mortgage payment and starting to do a little investing. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, if that's smart or not.
Well, have you been doing any investing up until now?
So yeah, we put about 30% of our income into retirement. So this 10,000 is just kind of like play around investing into whatever we decide online.
How much you guys make a year?
About 150.
Okay. Do you feel like from a lifestyle perspective, you guys are, and I know it'll probably change without this mortgage payment, but are you guys enjoying your lives? Because investing 30% of your income and then after taxes and giving and all of that, are you guys happy with your lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I set up a bunch of different accounts, so we're like saving for future things, and then we're going on a trip this month. So I feel like we aren't like inhibiting anything with our life.
Good.
So yeah, we're not struggling with pain, all of that. But this is kind of just like taking that leap of pulling that much money to do that, which kind of scares me a little bit. But my husband's like, let's do it. We can make a lot of money.
And how's he planning on making a lot of money with this $10,000?
So this $10,000, there's a mine opening up where it's going to start operating. So we want to buy into that where the price is really low right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with it up and operating, it's going to increase.
Okay.
So
Did you say a mine?
That's where, yeah, it's a graphite mine.
Okay, I'm not
And
up to speed on the mine
and have you
industry.
guys done your research? I know I'm very ignorant when it comes to mines. I know that's probably shocking, but have you done like research? Have you seen a pretty consistent pattern with people that have done this? Like, does it feel like a risky investment, or is this like a shoe in? Like, oh no, everyone in Alaska knows that this is like a great, easy place to put your money.
I feel like it's safe, but it's just taking that much money from savings to throw into this.
Well,
That's
you guys,
where I'm kind of like,
yeah. Well, y'all have enough in your emergency fund though, minus this $10,000, right? Like, yeah, you're playing. You have a paid for house, Erica. You're fine. Just think about this: would you emotionally, even though it would hurt, be okay financially if this $10,000 was burned in a bag and you could never get it back again? Would you be okay financially?
yes, but obviously
we don't want that.
Scary, but yes,
We don't want that. But you guys have a paid for house. I mean, you're in a place that yeah, take it. I don't want to put my own hard-earned money in something until I know, like, oh yeah, there's for sure a pretty much guaranteed
over the long term, it will appreciate.
So again, if mines do that, and yeah, this feels not like a crazy risky investment, then I would feel comfortable. But again, I'll say this, even if it was a risky investment, you guys can take the hit. Even if it went under, I just wouldn't want my money going to something that I wouldn't get a return.
What's your net worth?
We're close to $500,000 right now.
Okay. So the key is you don't want these kind of fun play money investments to take up a lot of your net worth. And right now, it's not a huge amount. But maybe you cut back and go, we're going to do $5,000 in the mine and $5,000 into a taxable brokerage with mutual funds. Okay. And we hedge our bets there.
That feels safe.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about mine, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Did he see an Instagram ad for this? I guess there's a lot more questions to ask, but we'll save those for another time. Thanks for the call. Way to go on baby step 7, paying off the home.
Congrats.
That's an amazing accomplishment. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. Walt Disney once said, when you're curious, you find lots of interesting things. Reminds me of the old Ted Lasso quote, be curious, not judgmental. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not attuned to the Ramsey newsletter, you got to get on board. This thing's completely free. And we are talking about budgeting in this one coming out on Sunday. And if you don't know, a budget is a great start to meeting your money goals. And as you probably figured out, making a plan is one thing, sticking to it, whole nother animal. So we've put together our best, easy-to-follow tips to help you not just have a budget, but have a successful one. So go sign up for the Ramsey newsletter at ramseysolutions.com/newsletter, and you'll be inspired with these 15 practical budgeting tips on Sunday. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Kevin is up next in Houston. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. What's going on?
So as of a couple of hours ago, I just completed baby step 2 and 3 in a matter of clicks, sold a bad investment property.
Wow, Kevin,
And-
congrats.
How did that feel?
Yeah, thankfully from the sale, had enough to finish off student loans and fully fund about 5 months of an emergency fund.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, well done.
Big day.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
It's a great Friday.
So the question is, the house sale's been a little bit in the making, but I had been thinking about really trying to give back after all this. My dad actually helped me a lot with his investment property and through some of the pains of it. So the question is more about kind of how much to start giving back and whether or not it's too much. I was considering trying to do even just honestly this month doing a $1,000 donation to kind of a church organization that he's really active in, kind of in him and my mom's name.
Oh,
as
that's so
kind of
kind.
a first step for starting to give back. But I don't know if that feels too much right off the bat, or I don't know. It's weird to balance suddenly having extra income.
Yeah, for sure. So how much do you make a month?
Per month, I make around right now $4,400 a month after taxes, but that's going to go down once I increase my retirement contributions.
Okay. And how much do you have? You said you have 5 months of the emergency fund. Do you have any other savings, or is that it?
Just the $1,000 that's there right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I
There's,
mean,
there's no real parameter for giving. I'm wondering, could you do it monthly and just have a regular donation you make?
Yeah, I probably could. It feels different for me, but I guess in the long run, it's still money going to the organization, right?
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm if you feel like I really do want to give this money and you're able not to get behind on bills, scripture says that to take care of your own household first. And so there is something to be said about the wisdom of making sure you're not, you're going to be able to pay your light bill and stuff, right? Your basic needs and necessities are covered. And if you have $1,000 extra margin this month and you're I want to do it, then do it. But I would also, to George's point, there's a habitual action to be taken, a habit to be produced when it comes to giving. And that's really that's the heart change, where this becomes a part of your rhythm every month that you give something to somewhere. So if you want to give a lump sum this month to this organization in your mom's name for $1,000 and it's not going to put you financially in a hardship, then yeah, if you feel led to do that, then I would, Kevin. I think that's great. And then I would look at next month, to George's point, and say, okay, let's say, I go down to $4,000 a month. I want to give 10% of that. So $400 a month, I'm going to practice giving. Is that going to be to an individual? Is that going to be to an organization? Is that going to be a tithe to my church? How do I want to use that $400? But letting it be a habit, that's part of what you do, because we always want people to be giving, saving, and spending consistently throughout the month, regardless of really where you are in the baby steps. So that giving is a really crucial piece to winning with money long term, because it just changes you. It really does. There's a heart change that occurs when you are someone that gives and lives with that open hand, and money can easily become a quote unquote God in your life. It can be a level of, oh gosh, if I can just make this income, everything will be fine. A lot of value is placed in it. There's just a lot there. And when you give, it kind of puts all that in check, where you're okay, I'm actually letting some leave my hands, and I'm not just hoarding it. So it does something to your heart too, Kevin. So that consistent giving, like George was saying, every month, we are fans of.
And the fact that you're even asking this question tells me that you are a generous person, and you will continue to be, especially now that you're out of debt. Rachel, you've said give a little until you can give a lot.
Yeah.
And when you're out of debt, you can give more.
Yes,
which is an awesome
absolutely,
thing.
yep.
So love it. Love the question. All right, let's wrap up with Brian in Los Angeles. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
My question is, my mother gifted me my sister's car, but my sister wants me to pay $100 a month to my mom to pay her.
What?
Yeah, and it's like towards $10,000.
So she gifted you a car loan? What is your
Not
sister
much.
driving?
Yeah. She has her own car, like a Lexus. I'm just driving her old car.
So why are you now obligated to pay your sister's car loan?
That I don't know. I thought it was just going to be a gift and just pay $100 a month, but
So what happened with your sister's car? So was she paying the payments on this?
that car's fully paid off. She got into an accident with her previous car, got this car paid off, and then they gifted it to me since she bought a new car, and they're not even using this car.
I'm so
I don't know if I
confused.
should
There's no debt on the
return it.
car.
There's no debt on the car?
And she wants you to pay.
There's no debt.
But it's
There's
not
no
her
debt
car
on the
anymore.
It's not her car.
Yeah, so I don't know if I should it's under my name too, so I don't know if I should return it, sell it, and get a new car. And
What is
just
the
go
legal
with
obligation to her at this point? The car's
None.
paid off. Your name's on the title. She has nothing to do with this car.
Why
Is
did
she
your
angry
why
because
did your
she
mo-
wasn't
wait,
gifted
wait,
a car?
Why did your mom give her your sister's car away to her? Why didn't your sister just give you a car?
There's a lot going on here. I guess my mom wanted to put it under my name. So let's say if I get into an accident, they can't sue or go through the insurance to get into my mother's house. If I were to get sued in that case, again, I'm a safe driver, but
Are you on your own insurance?
yes,
Okay.
I pay my insurance now.
So you're on your own insurance. You're not on your parents' insurance.
Yes.
And sister's upset because she paid off the car and then you got it for free.
Yes.
That's really where the rub is. It's emotional for her. She's like, wait, how come he just gets it for free and I had to work to pay that thing off?
Right.
Does she have a new car loan now?
She has a new car.
With a car loan?
With a car loan, yes.
So she wants you to basically pay her car loan off because it's not fair that you got it for free.
That's what it sounds like, yes.
Okay. That's a classic bitter sibling right there. That's
Yeah.
classic behavior. Well, the truth is you have no obligation to pay her, and I wouldn't. And if she wants to destroy this relationship over this, that's on her and it's not on you. You had nothing to do with this. Your mother gifted this to you out of her own volition.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. And
Does
I
this
was just
shock you about
curious.
your sister? Is there a pattern of oh yeah, that makes sense? Or is this so out of the blue of I cannot believe she's making me do this. This is not like her.
It makes sense and it upsets me, but I just have such a good relationship with my mom. It's just my mom's the mediator between us. I don't really have conversations with my sister.
No, I'll
so-
give you this, Brian. This is $180 therapy. Ready for this? Don't triangle people. So your mom needs to get out of it. It's between you and your sister, okay? Or between your sister and your mom. Y'all don't need to be triangling this relationship.
That was free therapy right
Dr.
there.
John Deloney, I'm sure would
Gosh.
back me up on that.
Good stuff, Rachel. What a conundrum and a nightmare of a situation. Oh, my goodness. Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to all the guys and gals in the booth keeping us afloat today, to my wonderful co-host, Rachel Cruz, and to you, America. We'll be back before you know it. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.